Well, folks, I swore I wasn't going to do it. I swore I wasn't going to do it, and look at what I'm doing. Sword of the Stars 2, End of Flesh. There's no way I can start Sword of the Stars 2 without talking about its not good history. For anybody out there who doesn't know, Sword of the Stars was a beloved 4X outer space strategy game. Many people enjoyed it thoroughly. There was I think 3 or 4 expansions for it originally that came out. And when Sword of the Stars 2 was announced, some people, including myself, were very excited about it. Couldn't wait to get their hands on it, pre-ordered it, and then the time came when it was released, and it turned out to be a buggy, non-complete, non-functioning, non-working game. And ever since then, this game has got a very bad rap. People refuse to give it its fair due, I guess, myself included. I thoroughly fall into that category myself, just because, number one, Sword of the Stars is a very in-depth 4X strategy game. Let's just say that. It's got very in-depth history and races that are set up. This is not a game that you can create like a custom races stuff. There are 6, 7 current races in the game now, and each of them have their own story, their own background, they have their own technology, they have their own research, they have their own ship designs. Everything about them is unique and different. So there's really no customization about it, which a lot of people, I think, were not very happy with. Another thing that they weren't very happy with. But I think the main thing people weren't happy when Sword of the Stars 2 was released was that it just was a buggy. It was a buggy mess. There was things. It kept crashing to the desktop. It wasn't a completed product. Well, when it was finally, after people complained about this game and such, and developer Paradox Studio realizes that we released this too early. They swore that they were going to spend as much time as possible getting this game fixed and working to keep the fans happy. And to their credit, I must say that there has been update after update after update after update, and they have basically put a lot of extra time. And no, this time should have been obviously put into the game before it was released, but it is to the point now that it should have been back in 2012. This game came out in 2012, so it's taken a good extra year and a half. What does Sword of the Stars 2 bring to the table? Why would you want to invest some time and effort into it? Well, the first kind of downside to Sword of the Stars is, like I was mentioning, it's a very in-depth game, so it's very kind of complex until you understand what is going on. And the way Sword of the Stars did some things, they changed basically how some of the system works, and people that were used to Sword of the Stars couldn't understand how to operate the new mechanics, how to get everything to work, and how everything corresponded to one another. And since it was such a buggy mess and none of the features were working, and it kept crashing the desktop and you couldn't actually play the game, it was very hard to get into the game. But now that it's more stable version, you can actually get online and check out some videos, and you can watch, and you can see some people do some playthroughs on this game. You kind of learn some stuff, as I did. So I decided, in the last week or so, that I was going to at least give this game a shot. I spent all that money on it, and like I said, to their credit, they've got this game working about as good as I think they could. I haven't seen any updates for this for probably, I think there was one in January. I know there was a big one in November, but since then the patches have kind of slowed way down, and I think they've finally got everything working in the game. And as you can see, it is one of the best looking games, 4X strategy games out there. There's a lot of depth to it, and so what I'm hoping to do is kind of introduce to you some of the mechanics in Sword of the Stars 2 that I've looked at and started playing around with and kind of figured out and learned, so that if you are or had purchased Sword of the Stars 2, you can reinstall that on your computer and give this sucker a go, because like you said, it brings a lot of good things to the table. It is one of the best looking games. It has a really good tactical combat that's involved. It's in depth. There is a lot to really like about this game if you look past all the problems that it had. So let's get to it and see what this game actually has in store for us. As I mentioned, this is going to be just kind of a basic overview. I am certainly not a Sword of the Stars 2 expert. I have played it several times in the last week or so, and I've probably watched maybe 10 or 12, 14 hours worth of videos online on people playing it and giving their advice and how to do things and such. So I've learned a lot from that, and I'm hoping just to bring some of my knowledge to you and let you see what this game can do and try to show you how to get this sucker to play. Now, if you had pre-purchased this game, you will notice that this has a new Sword of the Stars 2 is now the Enhanced Edition, and they've basically given you this End of Flesh free expansion pack. I think now all you can purchase is the Extended Edition. You can usually pick that up on sale for about $15 or $20 nowadays. Maybe on the Steam sale, maybe a little bit cheaper, but you get Sword of the Stars 2 plus the expansion pack End of Flesh, which introduces the 7th race, I believe the 7th race in this, which is like a cybernetic species that is out there to destroy all of mankind, hence the name End of Flesh. So let's delve into this and see what we got and check it out. There is a pretty cool encyclopedia, kind of if you're familiar with Civilizations 5, how they have like up all the information about it. This one is not nearly as in depth as Civilization 5, but it does give you a lot of the information. So if you're looking at missions or patrols or constructions, or if you're looking for the different races, you can click on them. You can see their hyperlinks to different things in here. Obviously some of them aren't working properly, or there just isn't the information in there. It's not as in depth as I would have liked, but it's better than nothing. So those of you who have never played, you can go into the little encyclopedia and read about some information and check it out. Faster than light transportation. That's one of the other things that this game brings to the table that none of the other 4X games do, is that each of the 7, there are present 6 known drive systems. And the reason there are 6 known drive systems is one of the races actually uses like a teleport, as opposed to oh, here it is. The Snookas are able to transport from one point of space to another at FTL speeds, but they do not employ a drive per se. So there's 6 drives and then this teleportation drive. So each of the races has their own special way of getting around and using faster than light transportation, which is kind of really interesting, because that means all the races are going to play much, much differently. And of course you can find out all the information about the different races. And the other thing that kind of interesting about this is that the races, there's actually different kinds of races, and then there's actually different kinds of factions. So for example, let's look at the Tarka here. The Tarka are Tarkas are a reptilian species, and you notice that blah blah blah, it gives you some information about them, but you also know that there is the Tarkesian Empire. Well, the Tarkesian Empire is made up of Tarkas and all the other races as well. Of course, it's mainly dominated by the Tarkas, but of course it has some of the other species inside the Tarkesian the Tarkesian Empire. In fact, this is the race we're going to be playing here in Sword of the Stars too. So I just wanted to kind of introduce them to you. They seemed pretty cool. They kind of remind me of like a feudal Chinese, monarchy type thing where they have this great superior person that they look up to as their divine empire, their divine leader, and they called them the Vancola, or what's it called, the Varcona. That's it, the Varcona, the father of emperors. Basically, is the leader and supreme commander of this empire, and that's who you play as you progress through the game as the Tarkesian Empire. So that's the encyclopedia. Again, it's not quite as in depth as like Civilization 5, where you can click on anything and have tons of information about it. But it does a pretty good job of giving you a really good kind of an overview of how to do things. Most of the information is in there, as you can see. And definitely, if you're new to the game and trying to find out all this, I don't understand, what does this mean and stuff. Of course, you can find a lot of this information online as well. So we're going to go back here. Alright, so we have your profile, we have a continue game, create a game, load a game. We do have multiplayer, so there is multiplayer components in there. I've not tried this multiplayer. I usually don't play my 4X strategy games that take hours and hours and hours multiplayer, but definitely you can probably check that out if you're interested in that. I do thoroughly enjoy this little load screen here. It definitely gets you in the mood to want to play this game, as opposed to some of the other 4X outer space games that we've looked at recently, where their load screens are very boring and not much interesting going on. You can see we have a little combat going on. You can see the different races' ships. You can see moving parts on the ships. You can see star bases. You can see what their worlds look like. Lots of interesting things going on. Anyways, we're going to go ahead and create a new game here. So this is going to be your game setup here. All your different maps over here on the left-hand side, and you can see the number of players in the number afterwards. You can rotate this and kind of zoom in and zoom out, and you can take a look at what it looks like. Here's a duel where it's going to just be 2 players, mono and mono. Here's a pillar one that's like 4 players. A ring one, which has got 6 players. And each of these different bubbles, and again, I'm certainly not an expert, but I know enough to make myself dangerous. If I say anything that's wrong and anybody wants to correct me, just leave your thoughts and comments in the section, in the comments below. But from what I understand, these different, basically, I'm going to call them bubbles. The different bubbles represent like different sectors that you can trade. I believe it has something to do with the way trade and diplomacy work, in that if you're inside this bubble and you're trading outside of that bubble, it gives you greater bonuses. I could be not understanding that 100% correctly, but I think that's what that represents here. But we're going to investigate that and find out for sure. Brushfire is the one that we are actually going to try, because it's got 3 players, which makes it, it's small enough that we can maneuver around a little bit, but it's also, it's not too huge. It's going to take a whole lot of time to take a look at. Here are your different races that are available. There are 7, 2, 4, 6, 7, yes. So you can set up your strategic turn time, and right now it's set at infinite. You can do your combat turn time, and this is basically how long your tactical combat will run. And you can, of course, turn that all the way up to 12 minutes, down to 3 minutes. We'll just leave it at 6 minutes there and see how it goes from there. Your economic efficiency, we'll just leave that at 100%. Obviously, you can adjust that up or down. Your research efficiency, up or down. The number of players usually is based upon what map you're playing, but of course you can say, you know what, I want to play this map, but I want to have 2 players in it. We're just going to leave 3 in there. Your initial systems, this is how many different systems you own in the beginning. We're going to look at that here in a few minutes. And your initial technologies. I do like to start with one random technology. So we're going to start with one technology. This is how much money we're going to start with. And of course, random encounters. Your chance to have random encounters in the game. And your grand menaces in the game galaxy. Down here's your victory conditions. You can choose either last man just standing, where you got to destroy every enemy colony and ship, destroy all enemy capitals, be the first to build 5 star chambers, be the first to create up to 5 gem worlds, be the first to establish up to 5 provinces, be the first to build up to 10 leviathans, and claim a set percentage of systems. We will actually just play Destroy the Enemy Capitals. I don't like playing this one because I don't want to hunt down every last ship. So we're just going to look at the last capital. Once you destroy an enemy's capital, they're out of the game. Alright, so we will confirm that and we will move on. So, here we go. This is where you're going to do the information about your race. So you're going to change, you can put in your empire name if you want. You can just leave it as a random one. You can select a faction, and you will notice there are quite a few on the list here. You will notice that some of them are repeated, though, in that there's like the Soul Force, which are basically the humans. They have this one ship design in here, and we can kind of look at it, rotate it around. They also basically have a second. It's still the same empire, they just have a different look upon them. So we'll let that load up. Usually it takes, some of them you can see quite a drastic difference, some of them not so much. So we'll look at another one here. Let's look at the Hivers. Alright, so here's our original ship. Really good looking, yes. And then we'll look at the Hiver Imperial Immersion. You can see quite a big difference on that now. Much more plated, like a bug. I think this is obviously like the bug race. Alright, so we're going to select our faction here. We are going to be the Tarkesian Empire. So we can either choose, this is our starting ships, or we can choose this one. This looks more like actually like scales. Of course you can zoom way in, check out the details, way up, way in. Definitely, like I said, one of the best looking 4X strategy games. In fact, you can sometimes, if you zoom in close enough and you get at the right angle, you can see little things moving around inside and all kinds of crazy stuff. So we'll play as that. Now we're going to choose our ship color. We are going to choose maybe maybe a red and a yellow, except for the red doesn't look very reddish. Let's see. Still looks kind of pinkish, even though it shows red. How about go red and black? How does, or yellow and black looks? Except for the black looks kind of gray on that, but should we go like a red and like a aqua? Sure, that's fine. What do you think? Mostly you want to worry about our main color. Alright, and here again we can set up our initial systems, technologies, our treasury. We select our avatar. This is who our main character looks like. Select our badge. I like using this one because it looks like the face of a reptile. Set the AI difficulty. I will choose easy. Yes, I'm a wimp. Wham, wham, wham. So we can choose who we're fighting up against. Yes. So select faction. We can say we're up against the humans. And we will choose, I have no idea. Let's try the Lurthzul. Sure. Excuse me. Of course, you can select their avatar, their badges, and all that, or it'll just randomly generate them or use whatever the default is for that race. Alright, so let's start her up and see what we got. Alright, so here's our homeworld. Is the Webster system. You can see we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 planets. We actually have 5 things in the system, 4 planets, and this asteroid field. You can see our homeworld here is a picture of it. It shows you the size, the type, the resources, the biosphere, the civilian population, infrastructure, the number of moons. You can click on any of the other worlds, and you can see some information about them as well. Why can't I see any information? Hello? Maybe I have to go okay. Alright, maybe I have to do it from this way. Alright. So it is a full 3D modeled universe. As you can see, I can zoom in and zoom out, which is kind of cool. You can see our yellow systems here, the 3 that we start with. And I can zoom around and look from up top, down below. So you got to kind of get your bearings. I'm just holding my right mouse button down to look at things. And very nice, very nice. Alright, so here's where I can check out my other planets in my world, or in my system. Each system will come with a certain number of worlds. So here is the first planet, Webster 1. You can see it's only size 2. It's normal. The resources, the biosphere, population. So obviously it doesn't have much going that way with it. But one of the most important things to keep track of is its development cost. This is how much money out of pockets it's going to get to basically get this world up and going, where your populace are going to say, oh, okay, let's live here. It's not a bad place to live. This is actually really good for us because normally you don't find that many good locations. Up here is kind of like the weather chart, basically, the how happy or sad your people are. I don't know the best way to determine here. Obviously, you want everything. This is a bar right there in the middle of the green would be perfect. So we're almost there. We're only 11,000 off. That's really good. Sometimes when you're way over here on the edge of the green or in the yellow here, you can be up into like $250,000 just to get this, just to get that planet. So 11,000 is not much. So right now, this is looking good. Now the problem with this world is only size 2, so it's not very big, and so you're not going to get a very huge population on that. But definitely because it's a world we can colonize, we might want to look at that one. Let's see what else we have in our system. We have number 3. You can see here we've swung over from in the middle. We've swung just a little bit over to the right-hand side here. It looks more along the lines of like a barren, deserty planet. It does have some look like water there, but maybe it's not. You can see it's size 3, so slightly bigger than the last planet. It has some good resources. But you see here, development cost $215,000, which is a lot of money just to get this system up and running. So we're not really going to be interested in that one. Let's see what's in the 4th world here. Oh my gosh, this is really good for us. This is a really good start. I might have to save this game because, good Lord, I've never been this lucky. The last game I played, I went out to like 5 systems and didn't find anything worth a crap. So to have 3 of them in our own system, that is really good. Of course, the size is only a 3, but look at that. It's only 769 development costs. I haven't seen anything this low ever. This is the lowest I've ever seen. I think the lowest beside this was like 2,000 and something. So 769 is like almost dead center of what we want. So this is definitely going to be a planet we're going to colonize. Definitely going to do that. All right, so that's our system. That's the Webster system. We also own two other systems. We can click on them, and you will notice that when we do that, the cursor or the screen automatically focuses in on that system. So if you're kind of lost and you're turned around or whatever, you click on a system, and then you can kind of reorientate yourself. Easy for me to say. All right, so the Altera system. Wow, another one. We have 1, 2, 3 worlds, and it looks like an asteroid field. Let's check and see what our starting system is here. So it's a smaller, size 4. Obviously, it's already got quite a bit of population on it, biosphere, some resources. So a nice already developed colony. You can see up here at the top, it's a developed colony, as opposed to when we click on our home system up here. Yeah, it says developed colony as well. Okay. So Altera, let's see what else is in the Altera system. We have, wow, oh my gosh, I'm going to have me a heart attack here in a minute. This is size 6, so pretty decent size. Resources, aren't bad, 3,934. It's not up in the 5,000-6,000 range, but still, it's almost 4,000 resources. And you see, it's only going to cost us 17,459 to develop this world. Obviously, there's no civilian population or infrastructure or moons. And you can see it's almost in the middle of the green, not quite, a little bit to the left. But that is not bad either. Boy, we're going to have a tough decision. Our poor colony ships are going to have lots to do. So that is Altera 2. Let's look at Altera 4. Oh, didn't click it. What happened there? Why can't I? Let's look at. Oh, it's up here. System view. Let's look at the system view. I kind of like this view as well. It's a 3D model, and you can sometimes find it easier to click on things this way than on the other way. And you can see what is the other systems in which direction they're located, because you want to use this when you start setting up your defenses and stuff, because you're going to be using a screen very similar to this when you're doing your fleet combat. So if the Marovuru, jeez, I can't even say it, sorry. If they're coming in from the Maru system, they're going to probably come in this direction here. So if you put your defenses over on this side here, obviously that might be a good thing. So anyways, there's our system world now. Let's see here. Click. Oh, very nice. You can see, as I was mentioning in the beginning, one of the best looking 4X outer space strategy games. Makes you just like, wow, that's really cool. That is awesome. Alright, so let's get out of that mode. We'll look at that later on, obviously. Whoop. Oh, I gotta hit the back button down here. Sorry. Alright, so Altera. So this looks like size 5 planet, normal type, normal resources, and it's got 0 moons, 0 infrastructure, 0 civilian population. But there's no way. See, it's in red down here, so I think this is like a moon that we can't colonize. We're going to find out. Alright, so we'll look at that in a minute. Gamma. Let's see what's in Gamma. Alright, so we got this planet. I keep saying system, but it should say planet. Size 6, normal. Ooh, lots of resources. 7,320. So plenty of resources. Okay, let's see what's else in the system. Looks like we got a little asteroid belt there. We also have this planet here. It's 6. 5,000 development. There it is. Development cost 120,000. So not really great there, obviously. Let's click on this one here. You can see we're getting a little bit farther away from our sweet spot there. 260,000. And finally, last but not least, way here out here on the edge, it shows red. So I think this is uninhabitable for us. I think is why it's in red, and it doesn't show us a development cost. Development cost. There it is. For that one, development cost for this one is 120,000. This one is 260,000. Sometimes it takes a second for it to show you the updated information. So you can also lots of information up here at the top, and as I mentioned, really beautiful looking game, and it looks very disconcerting when you're trying to figure things out, but it's actually very easy and very, very smooth, and it doesn't take very long for you to figure out where you're at. You can zoom way out, you can zoom way in, and you can see how far away things are. Some of the races, it matters that way. So we can see things off in the distance as well, because we have astronomers on our systems, and we have computers, and we have all kinds of electronic devices that we can see. So we can see this system out there, and we can see it has just a big red star, and it looks like just an asteroid field. So we're probably not going to send a survey team over to see that system. We can look at this one here. What does this one have? That has absolutely nothing, so we're not going to send anything that way. We might send something there because we got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 things in that system. Is an orange star as opposed to a yellow star. I believe that's a yellow star. What's this one? This is orange. Okay, so orange might be okay. Reds are probably the worst of the bunch, I would say. Got one that has one system there. So we're going to have to shoot for maybe this orange and this yellow one, and then that's pretty much everything on our end of the galaxy. We got a couple red ones we can check out, but probably trying to get this orange one and this yellow one are going to be the priority. Alright, so what I'm going to do is just bring this first episode to a close. This is going to be a basic introductory walkthrough of how actually Sword of the Stars 2, and we're going to check it out and see what we can figure out as we play through this game. But I'm going to kind of introduce you, for those of you who haven't played much or haven't played at all and are enjoying 4X games or like 4X strategy games or outer space games, and you had heard so many bad things about this game that you're like, I'm not really interested in playing that game. I'm going to show you that don't be like me. Don't be like me saying I'm not going to play this game because I don't want to spend the time, the trouble, and the effort to do it because it's not worth it. Because I'm going to show you, folks, that it is worth the effort. There's really a lot to like about this game. And I spent the last week looking at this game and trying different things out. And now I'm like, wow, I wish I would have tried this months ago. So I'm going to bring this episode to a close. This is Sword of the Stars 2, End of Flesh. And we're going to pick it up here in just a few minutes with the next episode. So thanks for watching.